Vibha Bhatia, and I'll be your moderator today. So, this informative session is organized by AgroVision Foundation and AgroSpectrum. And as we all know, that in a bid to double the farmers' income by 2022, the government of India is continuously looking for ways to boost agriculture production, food processing, and marketing avenues through the integration of latest technologies and innovation, thus creating a huge scope for food and agri startups in the country. So, according to the National Association of Software and Service Companies, that is NASSCOM, India currently hosts more than 450 startups in the agri sector, growing at a rate of 25% year on year. In the last 5 years, more than five global agri-tech companies have ventured in India, as compared to more than 25 Indian agri-tech companies with global presence. So this is a new wave of budding entrepreneurs and emerging startups in the country that are leading the way to disrupt the agriculture sector in the country. The space for startups has emerged due to the changing dynamics in agriculture sector, as we all know. So experts predict that some, such agri startups are set to play a dominant role in disseminating information to farmers and maximizing the future. However, growth in this sector will be spurred only with a strong financial inclusion policy, faster data penetration, and more government support in terms of funding. So therefore, this informative webinar has been designed to discuss the opportunities and challenges, to provide information on initiatives, marketing schemes, and programs available to support agriculture startups, advise on fundraising issues, and potential areas for young agri entrepreneurs. So we have already posted some announcements in the chat window regarding e-certificates and the questions that you want to ask. So please go through those announcements. So now I would like to kick things off by welcoming our AgroVision team. So from AgroVision Foundation, we have Mr. Ravi Boratkar. He is the President, AgroVision Foundation, and publisher AgroSpectrum and New Food Spectrum. Dr. C.D. Mai, he is the Chairman of AgroVision Advisory Committee. He will be joining us shortly. And we have a distinguished panel, which in fundamental sense needs no introduction. So without any further ado, I would like to welcome our distinguished panelists. We have with us today Dr. H. Purushottam, who is the CMD of National Research Development Corporation. Dr. Sarvana Raj is the Director, Agriculture Extension, National Institute of Agriculture Extension Management, that is National Institute of Agriculture Marketing. Dr. Srinivas Rao, Director, National Academy of Agriculture Research Management. Mr. Vijay Prakash is the General Manager Business Development at National Small Industries Corporation Limited. And Ms. Sangeeta Bavi, she is Director, Startup Ecosystem, Microsoft. So now I would like to request Mr. Ravi Boratkar for his opening remarks. Mr. Boratkar.
Yeah, thank you, Vibha. And greetings from AgroVision and AgriSpectrum. A very warm welcome to all the distinguished panelists. And I'm particularly delighted to see my old friend and guide, Dr. H. Purushottam, Mr. Ramesh Mittal among the panelists today. And so I also welcome Dr. Srinivasa Rao, Mr. Vijay Prakash, and Dr. Saravanan Raj. So welcome you all. I think AgroVision Foundation over a decade now has been constantly engaged in the activities to educate, encourage, and empower the farming community, particularly in the central India. So we have been conducting a number of training programs, workshops, conferences, seminars, and I think some of you have been also on that platform. And post-COVID lockdown, we have started this web series, and today is one such discussion or a dialogue on an important topic. See, in fact, advancement of technologies like maybe information technology, IT, biotechnology, BT, or nanotechnology, NT, has been a major catalyst in boosting Indian economy. But one of the major contributors to the Indian economy, that is agriculture sector, is still desperately in need of technologies to boost maybe quality production, processing, effective supply chain management, value addition, and most importantly, the culmination of this to boost up the revenues for the farmers. I think this 2020 is expected to be the year full of challenges to solve the agri-tech challenges to solve for the agri-tech sector, with government and investor both showing higher interest. I think using technology to back agriculture know-how can change Indian food and agriculture industry, as we all know. While startups in agriculture have expanded in the past couple of years, so also the funding has grown multifold. Also, nowadays startups are using like artificial intelligence, robotics, drones, Internet of Things to solve agriculture challenges in India. But still, we need to create an ecosystem to further boost up and accelerate the agri startups and its impact on Indian agriculture. We are fortunate that today we have such a good panel who have nurtured or incubated many such agricultural startups, who are mentoring many right now, and who have a varied and a rich experience in agri sector. So I'm sure this today's discussion will be very useful for the youngsters who are joining in today, or the entrepreneurs, to find out about what is the big idea which can make a difference. And if somebody has a big idea and has a startup, how can he scale it up? And ultimately, how can it contribute to the agriculture sector? I think without taking much of the time in the introduction, I will now like Vibha to open up the discussion, the session for the discussions, and let's hear to the eminent panelists. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Baratkar, for such encouraging opening remarks. I'll start and open the floor for discussion with Dr. Purushottam. So, Dr. Purushottam, as we all know that NRDC is leading technology transfer organization in India. So what, according to you, is the future of agri startups in India? What are the checkpoints to know whether they are on the right track or not? So in this particular aspect, if you can also share the role of NRDC in supporting them, and what is your advice to the newcomers? You need to unmute yourself, sir. Please unmute yourself.
Yeah, I would like to thank my friend Ravi for giving me this opportunity and meeting all of you virtually. So though we love to meet each other, but because of this COVID,
yes,
we were not able to meet. Nevertheless, it is a great pleasure for me to see all of you and share our perspectives on the question, a very important question what you have raised. See, as government is pushing to double the farmers' income, that statement itself gives a lot of opportunities, a lot of energy into the system. Once the government said they wanted to enhance the farmers' income or double the farmers' income, it is not a simple statement. Behind that, there are a lot of so many policy initiatives, so many programs. So, as you all know, India being a agri-dependent country, a lot of opportunities for the startups and the youth particularly. See, the COVID, in fact, has brought a lot of challenges, everywhere problems. What startups require is that problems. Actually, for them, the fertile land is problems. So, wantedly or unwantedly, the COVID has brought such a enormous challenges. Each challenge is an opportunity for the startup companies. So, as far as NRDC is concerned, NRDC provides technologies required by the startups, innovative technologies. NRDC works with almost all public funded research organizations in the country. We work with ICAR, ICMR, universities, IITs, CSIR labs, DRDO labs. Across the spectrum of all the research institutions, research is being done. You all know about 0.8 to 0.9% of our GDP is being spent on R&D to develop technologies. So we have access to all this knowledge, not only in food and agriculture, in almost all areas of human needs. So we have the technology data bank. We have more than 3,000 technologies in our data bank. Every year we license about 50 to 60 technologies. Though the potential is enormous, but unfortunately many youngsters, many youth, they are not aware the kind of services, the kind of support NRDC can provide to the startups. Oh, we were licensed during the last 10 years around 5,000 technologies. But I was analyzing our portfolio. More than 43% of our technologies, what we have transferred, are in the food and agriculture machinery. So that is the kind of database, that is the kind of support we provide. Anyone, any youth or any person wanted to become an entrepreneur, particularly in food and agriculture sector, they can reach out to NRDC. We can provide innovative technologies. The technologies what we license are fairly at a mature stage. The proof of concept has been established. For some of the technologies, they've already been field tested. So the risk of commercialization is much less. Not only we give proven technologies, we also provide sometimes funding also. We have two schemes, grant scheme as well as equity scheme. In a good startups, any entrepreneur have that kind of a skill, abilities, and resources and passion. We also make investments in such kind of startup companies. So as you mentioned, what are the checkpoints for an entrepreneur to pick up such kind of a profession or a career? See, if you wanted to become an entrepreneur, the first and foremost thing, or you wanted to start a startup, you should have the ability to take risk. That is very, very important. And you should have a passion in your belly. There should be fire in your belly. Come what may, I will be successful. So there will be a lot of disturbance around you saying that the technology is not good, there is no market, there is no finance, but all these things will be there. If you want to venture into any issue or any challenge, if you take, always there will be problems. But you should have confidence within you. What may come, definitely, I will be able to pull all the things put in front of me to make my journey a comfortable journey. The government of India has also come up with so many programs. There is no dearth of fund in the country now. That is the message I would like to tell all the entrepreneurs. What is required is you need to have a passion to become an entrepreneur. See, government cannot provide employment to all the youth in this country. You should be able to, you should be an employment generator rather than looking for an employment. Such is the kind of policy, such is the kind of government. Now we are all fortunate to have under the leadership of Prime Minister Modi ji. So many innovative programs are in place. So this is the time now we need to encourage, motivate the youth and youngsters of this country to embrace innovation, entrepreneurship, startups. I think in the history of our India, this is the best period for entrepreneurship. So such is the kind of policy initiatives the government push. But only thing is we need to motivate the youth, motivate the youngsters to have that kind of a passion, to create such kind of an employment, such kind of a wealth in this country. At NRDC, whatever is required, that is what I have been talking in all the webinars for the last 3 months. I have spoken more than 100 webinars during the last 3.5 months now. So what I would like to communicate through this webinar is that all the youth, you should have that kind of a mindset. Come forward and get connected with all the resources, get connected with all the mentors. Now there are so many incubation centers have been established across the country. See, if you want to start a venture, incubation center also provides you all that help, mentoring, funding, everything is available. What is required is that the spirit of becoming an entrepreneur. So please come forward, contact NRDC, contact NAM, contact ICAR, Agri-Innovate, contact Invest India. So many institutions now available, funds are available, mentors are available, technologies are available. There is no shortage in our country, whatever you want, particularly government's mandate is to double the farmer's income. So in that mission mode, everything is available, only what is missing is the passion and commitment. Let us motivate the people of this country, the youngsters, to embrace innovation, entrepreneurship and startups. I would like to stop at this point of time, and subsequently the discussions requires, I can add a few more points.
Well, thank you. Totally agree with you when you say entrepreneurial passion is essential for venture success. That's the most important thing, I think, in today's world. So, and now I would like to Dr. Purushottam just said that, one second. Yes, so like he said that every challenge is bring opportunity. And in our case, the coronavirus pandemic is for some agri startups is like a moment in the sun. It has provided an opportunity to Indian agri startups to showcase how tech intervention and innovation in agriculture can solve the problem faced by farmers. However, at the same time, many Indian agri startups were also having to deal with operating with less than 6 months of runway. And if the impact continues for some more time, it will be very difficult for them to cope up. So, what is your suggestion and advice to them?
It is very nice question asked by Adya. Now look at this COVID period. COVID is like, since last 4 months people are struggling. And very rightly said, the new entrepreneurs in the name of this startup and the idea is people who have just jumped in and they have started their business. And if you look at the various kind of businesses which are running in the country, I believe last year this agri startup has been taken in place as a quantum jump. Although since last 5-6 years it was working, but last year it has taken like a big jump because this RKVY project initially started last year, and 29 institutions are associated with this RKVY project. Their incubation center has been set up, and almost all the states, and we are also working in the same status. So this like COVID is I'll see like many startups are working as a taking COVID as a challenge also, and some of them they have taken as an opportunity. So how comes the opportunity? For example, I know my startup. They said, sir, we have gone through with the COVID report, and in this COVID report, if you look at the different kind of infection period has been assessed by this WHO. Like for example, if this virus is staying on the steel for 3-4 days, on for this like wood maybe for 24 hours, or for this plastic like more than 3 days, something like that. So they said, sir, we are in the process of to design a packaging material where this infection can reduce, like for example, maybe for 2 to 3 hours. So suppose we are sending any kind of package to anywhere. So the risk is quite less, maybe for 2 hours or 3 hours of infection. Within after that, there will not be any infection. So such kind of startups are working. Number two, and they have taken this as a opportunity, not as a challenge. One more startup, like earlier they have make the bridge for this direct market. So one side, the farmers were not able to sell their produce directly to the consumer because of this COVID. Many states were having curfew and things were not moving. Supply chain was blocked and cold chain was also blocked. So what they have done is they have started their own e-commerce websites and they have started catering to their customers. So this organic produce as well as some superfood, which is like boosting the immunity also. So such kind of produce they were producing and they were selling directly to the customer. So farm to customer approach has been come. So that is now some farmers they were not able to sell, but if you look at this agri startup, they were selling in a big way. So that was also a very good opportunity. One more, like I just want to share one more startup. They have introduced one polymer that was made by this agriculture waste. Now the beauty of that polymer, it can retain moisture in this soil. So farmers were not able to like getting this labor and all for this irrigation purpose and all. But they have purchased this polymer, and that polymer was fulfilling this requirement. Like instead of 2 days water, they were supplying this water 3 to 4 days. So that the soil was like treated by, water which is required for within 2 days, but now water was coming after 4 days. But this polymer has fulfilled the moisture in the soil. So my feeling is basically COVID is opening with lot of opportunities. Even one of my startup, this hemp. Now they have made hemp-related produce that was like sanitary pads and other things. But now later on, they have introduced mask which was made by the hemp. So now you can filter more. So such opportunities are, these entrepreneurs and these startups are open up for such kind of opportunities, and they are not thinking COVID is a challenge. They are thinking COVID is an opportunity. So I'll stop here and we will continue later on. If you have any more questions, kindly ask.
Thank you, Dr. Mittal, for sharing your perspective and sharing your views. Now I'll go to Dr. Srinivas Rao. Dr. Rao, we were talking yesterday, and we were talking about one of your initiatives, A-IDEA. So, like sensitize, ideate, incubate, and accelerate are important stages in the early phases of startup. And A-IDEA is helping entrepreneurs to make competitive business venture. And we have many interested startups attendees who would like to understand the A-IDEA. And also, I would request you to please share what are the opportunities for these early startups and what are the new avenues available for them.
Thank you very much, madam, and also my co-panelists, Dr. Saravanan, Mittal ji, and Purushottam ji, and Sangeeta ji may be joining. The introduction.
Sangeeta is here.
Yeah, Sangeeta, Madam Sangeeta. Yes, Sangeeta, she's here. Yeah, in the introduction, it was amply said that doubling the farmers' income 2022 is Honorable Prime Minister called for. And so far, we are concentrating on only majorly on production side. This year, for example, last year the food production is around 290 million tons, and we are touching this year also. Especially horticulture, fruits, vegetable, cut flowers are around 320 million tons. Similarly, large production of meat, milk, eggs, fish. Production is there, but farmers' income is stressed now. And how to improve the farmers' income means that hitherto what we are concentrating on production centric to the processing centric or value addition centric. I mean that both production and primary agriculture and secondary agriculture should go hand in hand. While increasing the productivity, we should see that how at present the processing value addition is less than 2%. And most of the horticulture and these things. And government aims at, government of India aims at around 7%. So there is a ample, at the same time, supporting systems also available to reach at least 5 to 7 to 10%. You have said that I would also reiterate because around 485 participants are here. And another important challenge in agri and food system is that loss of food. Loss of food during production stage and post-production stage. The estimates are around 1/3 food is produced is being wasted, either at different levels. So when production is saving, production is producing agriculture, it's a very much valued thing that whatever produced, we should save it, and with less production losses should be made. So for that, certainly agriculture startups are very, very important, and agriculture startups can successful agri startups can help farmers doubling the income. At the same time, consumer satisfaction. At the same time, employment, as earlier speakers said. And as far as NAM is concerned, that we have NAM A-IDEA in ICR, Indian Council of Agricultural Research, under Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare. Earlier, we have 50 ABS, Agri-Business Incubation Centers. Last 2 years, the number is increased from Agri-Business Incubation Centers from 25 ICR Institute to 50 ICR Institute. It means that most of the commodities, sub-commodities within fisheries, for example, marine fisheries, brackish fisheries, inland fisheries, all the institutes are covering agribusiness agribusiness incubation system. As far as NOM is concerned, that we have been, in fact, we are 10 years old in this ideation, awareness, sensitization, awareness, and also how to mentoring them, and what are the, especially when little later, not only early startups and little later startups, and IP knowledge and training, capacity building, these things are done at EIDA NAM. And also, we have around 50,000 agri students in India. One of the 50,000 agri BSc agriculture, BSc horticulture, veterinary, fisheries, different students are there. But lot of, I think there is less awareness for agri MBA and masters, and that sensitization is being done across the country and going to the different agri universities. Agri means all subsector universities, and sensitizing their students. Yes, there are opportunities in agri entrepreneurship, so that sensitization may lead to the ideas leads to incubation leads to acceleration. That kind of steps we are taking up. And also at NARAM, we have agri MBA, and this year we would be taking around 70 students, 66 plus agri MBA students. Their backgrounds are both different sectors, engineering, agriculture, different sectors. We would like to see that through them, how agri startup entrepreneurship or ecosystem is developed in future. In ICR system, that including EIDA at NAM, we have best horticulture. It is being dealt at Indian Institute of Horticulture, NutriHub, Indian Institute of Millet Research, and also other institute, TNAU, other Haryana agriculture universities are handling this agriculture to support agri startups. And our role critically here is that anybody has idea to farmer or anybody, it's not essentially agriculture background. Many engineers, many graduates, many students, some farmers, some innovative thinkers. If anybody is having idea, how to nurture that idea to take forward. That is the first step EIDA does. Second thing is that, and the idea is refined, and then we will really see that how idea is reshaped and idea is refined at incubation stages at NARAM EIDA. Then we will be also exposing them to the different protocols, different what kinds of things are required, maybe patenting and other aspects. We have experts of patent systems. And finally, how to expose them to the, as a business venture, maybe exposure to the investments. NOM, so far we have done that Agri Udaan. Udaan means how to take up the agri business. And in 2017, Agri Udaan 2 launched at Delhi. Around 500 people participated across the country. And 2000 last year, we have started Agri Udaan 3 at Hyderabad. And from Agri Udaan is to bring all the interested people at the same platform. It was supported by Government of India, DST. And once it is launched, Agri Udaan start, we do to the different major cities as a road shows. Initially, we have restricted initially we have restricted to the Hyderabad only. Then we went to different cities, Bangalore, Kerala, Chennai, Chandigarh, different parts of the country where to sensitize, to create awareness. Yes, there is an opportunity. These are the different steps are possible. If anybody is having idea and to promote them, to support and encourage them. And those are called road shows. And finally, these people will be coming to the norm, some of the selected people for incubation, maybe training. And we have AIDEA bigger building. And recently, we have received another DABAD project for this process. And at the same time, once this is done, then we would like to see that one of the important issue is that investment. Where is when idea is good, they are being trained, then they want to start small venture, then finance is very, very important. And there are many programs, and for example, grants for innovators up to 10 lakhs under Niti Prayas program under DST, and 50 lakhs under big grant of BIRAC for idea to take up to the protocol stage. As I was again at the cost of repetition, I was telling that Indian Council of Agriculture Research is giving lot, and realize that agriculture should become an entrepreneurship ecosystem. That's why maybe it is a banana, maybe it is any crop. A larger network of agribusiness incubation centers are there across the country who will help these ideas to nurture. And also, we have Raftar scheme and offering 5 lakh grants for ideas and 25 lakhs for a grant for early stage startups. In fact, some of people of our ABAs under Raftar schemes. And technology is available for entrepreneurs to license at Agri Innovate, because licensing is very, very important. Because agriculture, after all, research is an essential part of ICR, and research leads to technology. Technology leads to commercialization. When commercial angle has to be taken up, that licensing part is taken by Agri Innovate of ICR at Delhi. So these Agri Innovate, in fact, it accumulates inventory of technologies which are ready to take up from ICR system. And the licensing part and the guidance part is taken by Agri Innovate. And at the same time, actually, one of the important limitation after telling so many things, one of the issue in Indian agriculture to see that agriculture as a business model is our farm size is very small. In fact, a small folder, when we compare and take the examples of USA and Canada and other countries, each farm size is 1,000 acres, 1,500 acres, whereas in our case, the farm size is very, very small, half hectare, 1 hectare. How to segregate within half hectare subsector? Also, one land is upland, one land is lowland, one is that. Even if you want to do mechanization and these things, it is a little bit tough. We cannot put it directly to the US system, Middle East system, and American system to the India. So we need to, for example, farm mechanization is a challenge in India. One of the limitations of farm mechanization is because of that. So the last point I would like to mention is that to resolve this issue, and farmer producing organizations are coming up. And basically, what is farmer producing organization or company is that they 500 like-minded farmers are coming together. Maybe input systems or production marketing system or any other system they will be doing collectively, so that their hands are strengthened. So this is the way forward, perhaps for agri entrepreneurship ecosystems and startups in India.
Right, right, sir. Thank you for sharing such wonderful programs with our attendees, sir. And I totally agree when you say that good ideas need cultivation and nurturing to become great, and the right team can help you flourish. So we have people from right teams here today. So I'm sure people will avail a lot of information from all you people. So now coming to Dr. Sarvana Raj. So Dr. Raj has an informative presentation to share with our attendees. that will talk about the offerings, programs by Manage, and available opportunities and challenges for agri startups. So, Dr. Raj, Dr. Rao,
Yeah,
please mute yourself. Could you please mute yourself, Dr. Rao? Yes, Dr. Raj, over to you.
yeah. Can you enable share the content? This,
Yes. Vivek,
yeah.
please do the needful.
Greeting में कुछ problem है
No, can I share from my side, ma'am? Okay.
Dr. Purushottam, could you please? Yes, Dr. Raj,
Yes,
go
yes.
ahead. Please mute yourself, sir. There is a lot of noise coming from your side. Yes, Dr.
Yeah,
Raj,
this.
go ahead.
I have to unmute, madam.
Mute
Yeah.
yourself.
Mute. Okay, he's already mute.
Yeah, good afternoon. I will talk about Manage Agri startups and opportunities and challenges. What we are doing almost last 25 years in the agri-business management and also developing agri-business across the country. Next, please. Madam, this PowerPoint is with you, is it not? Yeah. Actually, we are almost last 2 decades, we are doing something like agri clinics, agri-business centers. It was a scheme from the Ministry of Agriculture. People before thought of startups or agribusiness or self-employment. It's Ministry of Agriculture and many thought about this scheme. It was initiated during 2002. It is a self-employment scheme for the agri graduates. It is started. It is developing the agri-business. Agri graduates basically develop some model units and they will do the consultancy agriculture service to the farmers. That was the idea behind this scheme. Next, please. And this was, if you see across the country, there were last 18 years, there are 72,000 and almost 73,000 agri graduates were trained, and they will, you can name it anything, agri venture in India they are doing. You talk about marketing or export, contract farming or horticulture or landscaping or vegetable vermicompost to rural godowns and storage structures and agro-tourism, like that. You can talk it up anything which is essential for agriculture development, the rural area. All the areas, especially Maharashtra, Uttar Pradesh, and Karnataka and Tamil Nadu, they do well. So far, we trained something like 72,000 and almost 73,000. Out of this, 43% of them, 31,000 people across the country, they are doing some business or something. These all have the potential to become startups. It was started way back in 2002, and many of them. The issue is, as usual, we will tell the government schemes and we will tell there are funding opportunities available everywhere. Always we will talk. But 18 years of experience says that out of this 72,000 people trained, only 4% got the loan, even though it was linked with the subsidy enabled loan. But it is tough to get the loans, bank loans and our grants to get. But still, there are 43% of them successful. They are across the country. They are doing They are doing agri business, and along with agri business, they are also supporting the farming community. Next, please. Madam, next, please. Yeah. If you see, it is not simply, it is something starting agri business. It is all innovators, whether it is farm mechanization, or you can move, madam, quickly. It's a farm mechanization, or you can take it other. Madam, you can move. Next, please.
Vivek, please move.
Yeah, it is on extension on wheels. It was since something like 2002, you can see it's a mechanization of them, and some of them are something wheels. There is a extension service and support for the farmers. And also for second one, you can see it is way back 10 years back. It connects entire value chain of the vegetable farmers. It is in very near to Hyderabad. He is the BSc graduate. As like any startups today doing on supply chain management, he is a BSc graduate. Last 10 years he is doing entire supply chain management, value chain based extension he provides, and he gets the produce and he supports the advisory services and also connects the consumers directly from farmers to consumer goods, and he takes care of production and also providing the better profit to the farmers. And like this, you can see others in the Jharkhand or in some parts of the Maharashtra and other states also. It is the next, please. And these innovators also, it is something like ICT based innovation, whether it is fisheries or it is in West Bengal cotton crop or cotton in Maharashtra. These innovators, they will start their own virtually farming as a service they will provide. For example, it is a Nellore. There is a virtual aquaculture advisory services. Somewhere sitting in Nellore. Across the other villages, he provides through virtually sitting and providing. Still, last 10 years, he is doing this one. And next, please. Yeah, and also some of them are, they will make their own, they will come with their own breeds, which are locally relevant, and the farmers are demanding some certain type of breeds or locally relevant varieties because of locally relevant agroclimatic zones, they will make their own breeds and they will come up with this innovation and they will reach the farmers. This become business also, and also they will support the farmers on consultancy, everything, farming as a service they will do. Next, please. And these all stories you can see, large number of agribusiness, those who are trained in the scheme, they are across the country and they are doing this farming as a service, and also they have the model units they are doing. These are all, everybody has the potential to become startups. Out of 35,000 people are having potential to start up, but unfortunately only 4% of the trained people, those who are successful, able to get the bank loan actually. And some of them recent days they started applying for RKV Raptar project. Next, please. Apart from this scheme, based on our 2 decades of experience, we started Manage Center for Innovation and Agripreneurship. Here we will try to offer different services. Next, please. And anything related. Next, please. And anything related to agriculture and rural livelihood development, all the areas, management services and support for the agribusiness will provide in all these areas. It is not limited, but we will be more interested in doing something farming as a service and farmer service centers, where rural areas, some startups or some agribusiness they will start. They will help the farming community. There we'll have a lot of interest, including farm mechanization, supply chain management, ICT in agriculture, and animal husbandry fisheries. All the areas we have our own interest in promoting startups. Next, please. And we offer, as usual, any agri incubation center will provide the advisory services. We will have the mentoring program and capacity building will provide, and intellectual property rights, registration, other things, and business mentoring. And also we link the funding support with the RKV Raptar program. Next, please. Next, please. And among many incubators, most of them are technology-based incubators, but ours is something like livelihood. It is something extension. We want to have the more farming as a service, and those type of startups which really they help in the rural areas farmers, not as a process oriented or some lab oriented. We will be interested in all the type of agripreneurs or startups, those who are interested in providing the farming as a service, and we handhold the large number of entrepreneurs for converting them as a startups, taking next level and scaling up their ideas already in the field. Next, please. And while doing this one, next, please. And before that, yeah, and we have, as Dr. Mittal already told, this RKV Raptar program, we are one of the knowledge partners. We take care of the southern part of the country like Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, Kerala, and Tamil Nadu. We take care of these 4 states, and there are 4 different RABs from the Indian Institute of Millet Research. Another one is from TNAU and Kerala Agriculture University, Tamil Nadu Agriculture University, then Angro. And these 4 RABs and also Manage also conducts program. Like this, there are IRA and NIAM and US, there are 5 knowledge partners. Next, please. Along with these 5 knowledge partners, there are 24 RKV Raptar incubation centers. We all collaborate, and across the country, we'll call for the 2 programs. Across the country, we are continuously doing every year, doing large number of cohorts on promoting new ideas and startups. Next, please. And we run 2 programs through all these 29, 5 knowledge partners and these 24 agribusiness incubation centers. We run these 29 centers and the 2 programs. One is agripreneurship orientation program. Here only they need to have a better idea. That idea of really it is convincing and is useful for the farming community or development. Then automatically commits selects for the 2 months intensive training and mentoring. And once they are selected, they will get the stipend of 10,000 rupees. And there is a mandatory 60 hours classroom mentoring sessions will be there. Apart from that, internship opportunity will provide. These programs run across the country, 29 RKV Raptar Incubation Center. This is for those who are having only ideas, and with ideas they can enter for this program. They can get the 5 lakh rupees after 2 months of training and shaping up their ideas. To ground their ideas, they will get. And another one is it's a 25 lakh grants, and those who are already startup, if they are having minimum viable, economically minimum viable products, if they are having those startups, they can come for the scaling up, for doing research and development. They can come for them also 8-week residential training and mentoring will be there. And once they are successful in shaping up their startup next level, they will be getting 25 lakhs grants. This also 29 centers we are running. Next, please. Next, please. Yeah, like this, you can see large number of we are almost 60 startups will incubate, and it's a variety of startups. Somebody from Agri-Rain, and they will make the rain in the dryland areas. Any dryland crops and 3 critical irrigation is important. And Hyderabad-based startup, they source the common water and make the irrigation. And Abhay farmers, they work with the millet-related farmers association. Somebody like we have the artificial intelligence-based pest disease diagnosis system, and something like Nutriclop or something like food tech related. Pragati like that, and tuber crops related, and city greens, all food tech related, and again value order mushrooms, Dr. mushrooms, and also fish and fun like that from West Bengal. Lot of food tech related. You can again see there is a millet related and JDP like that. Again, it is a food tech related. And last one, another one you can see Kisan Agri Mall. It provides entire value chain advisory to providing input to taking their farmer producers to the better markets like that. Entire value chain services they provide. Kisan Agri Mall like that. Like this, we have the variety of startups. Eco Agripreneurs, you can see they cultivate the better crops with a less pesticide residue, and they recommend less pesticide fertilizers. That's why they produce the eco rice like that. It's in Karnataka they are doing it, so their rice is very much demand, and it's not organic, but eco rice like that, they will label it, they will say like that. The variety of startups, almost 60 startups we are having. Next one, please. Next one, please. And similarly, as you know, there are large number of farmer-based organizations, and somebody already farmer-based organization, it's aggregated. Some of our startups like eCressy works with aggregators. Already they are aggregating the different type of farmer producer organization. They work with them. And similarly, it's some of the startups work on the livestock related things, and KP Farmers Labs and Kamadhenu, and cultivate traceability of the farmers produce along with advisory. Somebody like cultivate the produce in somewhere in Tamil Nadu, and Green Morning, something to do with the landscaping and transplanting of the trees. They will do some startup on Green Morning like that. We have variety of startups. Some startup like agri startup, something related to automatic tractor for this one, and like artificial intelligence, IoT based coming up, and something organic farming based. We are go for like that, organic based menus like that. We incubate variety of startups which are really useful for the farmers and others. Next, please. And so coming to the opportunities, and today you see already our earlier panelists are spoke about all. It's a enabling ecosystem enablers across the country. If you see last few years, large number of enablers are there, whether it's RKY, Rapta 29 centers, or ICS Agribusiness Incubation Center almost 50, and DST funded Technology Business Incubator, and Bayrak by Biotechnology, like that. Large number of enablers are coming. That may be the opportunities for all the startups. And again, large number of other schemes are Government of India is coming, like Agri Infra Fund and food processing industry related, and fisheries NFDB coming out with separate programs like Aqua One centers across the country for the farmers service and promoting the aquapreneur. These also managed partnering with these initiatives like this. There are large number of enablers are coming this ecosystem to promote agri startups. Next, please. And apart from these enablers, and also there is a favorable macro economy. There are a lot of support from policy, government policy, environment supports for the developing large number of startups. And also again, agriculture, like country like India, it has a vast scope. Everywhere there is a large number of people are involved, and livelihoods depend upon millions of people's livelihood depends on agriculture. That's why there is a lot of scope is there in doing better business or promoting some startups in agriculture area. And again, intervention of sustainable agriculture production process along with animal husbandry. And another one is most of the startups are coming with the supply chain management related. And again, today everybody talks about healthy food or local food or organic food. This food tech really in agriculture has a big opportunity in the coming days. Everywhere people think about very quality conscious. Consumers are become more and more quality conscious. Then there are a lot of scope for the promoting food tech related startups in agriculture. Next, please. Next, please. And that's why, as I already told, there is huge potential in farm sector, and also processing and exporting also great scope is there. And another interesting thing is resource conservation. Whenever we use agriculture as a tradition, and we are doing so many years and generations, generally we use more resources, whether you take it water or you put it the input or fertilizer, whatever, or organic, whatever you put, no resources we put more and more. For this precision agriculture, resource conservation may be the one of the important area for the startups they can work on more, because coming days more and more resources are more constrained for agriculture. Then there are more and more scope to do something on resource conservation related startups. And again, data makes lot of data is useful for the making decisions. Country like India and also for policymakers, others, and farmers or extension and developmental departments to make the better decisions, including farmers. Data management related startups also, there's the huge opportunities coming days. Again, now we'll see in the country we are promoting large number of farmer producer organization to support this farmer producer organization in the many levels, to take care of their competencies or their processing or their branding their own products like that, and taking their own providing input, optimum and quality inputs, and taking their produce or connecting with the better markets like that. These FPOs gives a lot of opportunities for the startups to connect with the consumers or doing the business. And interestingly, recent days, if you see large number of cultural, there are people are coming with the startups. They want to start enterprise. That's an interesting trend. Recent days we can see many want to start the startups, and there is a cultural shift is happening. Many youth are coming for the. Dr. Mittal, can you meet? Yeah, like that. There are cultural shift is happening in the mindset of youth. That is another interesting opportunity. Next, please.
Okay.
And again, it's just challenges again, as already there are other panelists told, it's a fragmented and it's agriculture become based on local needs or agroclimatic conditions. It may not make our agri startups to the unicorns tomorrow, but it may make opportunity for the large number of startups to work in the rural areas. It may be the both opportunity and challenge for the startups. When startups aims for the unicorns are scaling up in a big way, that may be some limitation because of fragmented and the local needs, so something demands always. Then it may be both ways. It has opportunities to promote large number of startups, and maybe some startups want to have the larger area, that may be the limitation. And another one is we need to harness the growth and make it sustainable. That also issues. And whatever today there are social media, newspapers, everywhere information, but still many of the youngsters, though those want to start the information, they will always come. They are not aware about technologies, latest developments and schemes by governments. And again, there is not great networks are operating in technical, marketing, business and financial area. This is another challenge. Even though we tell everywhere information available, but the right people, it may not be. Those people come from rural areas and remote colleges. They may not be getting correct information. Those who are coming from other than agri streams, they may not get the information related to agri technologies. These things still challenge for many of them. And again, agriculture always with the credit cycles it will go, and high seasonal business, only seasonal based business, that it depends on the farmer's credit and we need to take and work. How startups manage these things, the issue. And even though we'll talk in the many ways and angel investor or venture capitalist many, but the real funding is very low. Even though a lot of conferences happen, many people,
So
they will tell, and newspapers
maybe
come.
we'll come back to you, Dr. Raj.
Yeah, I'm completing.
Dr. Raj,
Just
we'll
I'm
come back to
completing.
you. Yeah.
Yeah, fine. I'm completing. Fine. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much, sir. Really appreciate your, presentation. As
Fine,
we all know
okay.
that there is array of programs available for startups for all the stages. So you just need a
Right.
proper information and start cultivating your idea. You just need to take and start working on it. So that is also the objective of AgroVision: educate, empower, and encourage people working in the field of agriculture. So I believe he has to go empowering these startups in India and transforming global agriculture practices through agri-tech startup programs. Could you please throw some light on the program so that our attendees can avail valuable information regarding the same?
Sure. Thanks, Vibha. And is my audio okay? Can you just give me?
Yes, very much. Yeah.
Okay, super. So good evening, everyone, and good evening to my fellow panelists also. If you heard pretty much what everybody said, right? I mean, agriculture industry in India is pretty much at, I mean, even pre-COVID, it has been at an inflection point where, with respect to digital transformation. Obviously, COVID has just accelerated the whole digital transformation. But when I say digital transformation, there are literally two ends of the spectrum. One is digitization, where everything manual is getting into digital form to basically just drive efficiencies. And the other end of the spectrum where digital transformation is concerned is where you are, through your solution, you're actually creating new value streams, right? You're creating new business models through digital technologies. And an early indicator in India, obviously, what every panelist basically spoke is, the unprecedented activity that's happening in the startup space. So just sharing one number with you, every ninth startup which is an AgTech startup in the world, every ninth startup actually comes from India today. So obviously, many more entrepreneurs are creating solutions for agriculture, which is fantastic. The innovations that we are seeing is, be it in terms of precision farming or providing financing models specifically for the agriculture industry. So very deep AI ML models, lots of solutions trying to fix market linkage problems, driving supply chain efficiencies and things like that. So what we did at Microsoft was we launched our AgTech program, and the intent of the AgTech program is essentially to work with startups at all stages. And when I say startups, we basically Microsoft can help startups which use tech to basically create their product or rely on tech for their business model, right? That's basically the space that Microsoft actually works in. And the startup program essentially is applicable for startups at all stages. So we have 3 tiers of the program, and I'll share a little bit about what the 3 tiers of the program are. But no, but what happens in Microsoft is the moment a startup basically comes on board as part of the program, right? That startup becomes a partner of Microsoft, and that entire partnership is based on 3 distinct pillars. The first pillar is the technology pillar, which is the whole build with part. And in build with, what happens is, think about it, a startup which has deep domain knowledge in terms of agriculture doesn't really have to worry about, how to basically build AI ML models, or, how to basically take care of analytics, or be it in terms of just basic cloud services, right? So we have a bunch of our expert cloud engineers who work with startups, who handhold them, who help them basically, get their product to that stage. The second pillar of our program is basically go to market, which is everything marketing, above the line, below the line, wherever the startup basically needs marketing air cover, and in relevant forums when Microsoft does digital events, or obviously in-person events are not possible now, but we include relevant startup solutions as part of our offering. And then the third pillar that we have as part of our partnership is the sell with pillar, which is Microsoft sells into enterprises. Microsoft basically sells to government, to public sector, and a bunch of other industries, right? So our sales people basically, when somebody from the agriculture, when people are looking for relevant solutions, our sellers basically help either open doors or accelerate the existing sort of deal which is there for a startup solution, either in the government or in the enterprise space, right? So those are sort of the 3 distinct pillars of the partnership. Specifically, what we have as part of the program is, for early stage startups, we have a program. Obviously, there is an eligibility criteria, but the focus of the program is how do we basically help optimize the bottom line for a startup at early stage. And for the growth stage startup, it's basically how to help grow the top line, right? So in both these, we have different offers, and on the chat window, I can share the link of the program so all of you can go through it. But essentially, we have built a platform which is specific for agriculture on top of our cloud platform, which is Azure. So we have a solution, a service called FarmBeats. What it basically does is it's an industry specific cloud platform solution, which basically provides very practical insights from data. So all of you know, right? If you have to do smart farming, then you need data, you need very rich insights. And how do you get access to this data? So what we have done is we have basically created a platform which aggregates data from pretty much different, which aggregates data elements such as your soil quality, vegetation, water humidity levels, and so on and so forth. And we've collected this data from various sources, from satellite imagery, from sensors, drones, and then we have applied vision and machine learning algorithms to build on these data sets. So all of this platform is available for startups. And when they want to use it, we bring in our engineering team, which basically helps these startups adopt some of these platforms, so they don't have to create everything from scratch. So yeah, so that's the program. I'm just going to share the details in the chat window for everybody, Vibha.
Well, thank you, Sangeeta, for sharing your perspective and sharing your comments on the subject. Mr. Vijay saw somebody that production is easy, but marketing is a big challenge. So, like, NSIC has been facilitating the development of agri-based SMEs and startups in India. So, how can you provide support to startups, especially in the processing on the use of technology and marketing of the product and financial assistance, which are more needed till the business is set? So, if you could just throw some light on this.
Right. Good evening, everyone, and good evening, panelists also. The person name is Vivek Chaturvedi. He asked that production is easy, but the marketing is tough.
Yeah.
Whereas NSIC as a corporation, I trust maybe 7 or 8 months back, we used to support all the industry except agriculture, because agriculture was not included in most of the cases was not treated as an industry or as a factory. But just before 7-8 months, we got one MOU done with UP State Bioenergy Development Board to support the farmers, to farmer producer companies. Because when farmer producer company is there, then companies having a status of company and of a micro industry also, status of a micro industry. So that micro industry we can help. And right now, whatever our schemes are there as of now, apart from agriculture, are basically say the availability of the cheap raw material, not exactly cheap raw material, availability of the cost-effective raw material, quality cost-effective raw material, then the bank tie-up support system, then the exhibition, our flagship schemes. But now what we are doing in agriculture, because regarding the farmers, if a person is producing, for example, the pomegranate, or person is producing banana, now the regular trade channel is to give these things to the trader, and the trader takes the best margin out of them and give very little amount to the farmer and sell into the market at the exorbitant and extraordinary prices. If the UP farmer sells this lemongrass oil, they cultivate lemongrass and then extract the oil, the average price of UP to the trader from is around 900 to 1000 or maximum 1200 rupees. Whereas the international price of that particular thing, in most of the cases, is not less than 2000 rupees, and sometimes it goes to 3000 rupees also. It has got approval and internal finer discussion are again going on. At whatever price we will sell those products, we will be linkage between buyer and these producers. At whatever price we will sell, we will deduct our margin, which is anything in between 10% or less. We can work on the margin of 0.25% also at some point of time, but maximum 10%. If we are able to sell those products and take out our 10% and hand over all the remaining amount to the farmer, it will be a great benefit. Like, for example, the case of this lemongrass oil, if we are able to sell at 2,500 rupees per liter in international market, if we deduct our 10% also, then also a farmer will get 2,250 rupees per liter, which is at least double, if not triple, at least double than the price of he used to sell before to the traders. Right now we are in a position where we are taking where we are taking the database arrangement and taking the information from the farmer that what exactly they are producing and what exactly the requirement is at their plant. Sometimes if you are producing and for tomato, if you can sell tomato pulp or you can sell tomato sauce, but you don't know how to do it, so NSIC can support us in the training in giving the project and informing about from where you can get the business loan also. And we are having tie-up with more than 30 banks. And we are running these incubators also where you can have the spice grinding, the oil expellers, then maida making or flour making, what you call the garlic and and extraction of ginger oil. These projects are already running at our so now, apart from first the training, then after training, the farmer, if farmer is producing something, to get them directly into the international market or domestic market, and take very little margin of ourselves as the administrative margin, and rest pass on to everything to the farmer. So by this way, we are trying to increase the farmer's income, because the most important factor or the most important value chain is buyer. We are already connected with more than 35 countries for this. We are already connecting, starting the connection with all embassies and their trade desk. We are already having more than 100 international buyers for that. We are getting this information from UP farmers, from Uttarakhand farmers, from some farmers from Maharashtra also. And we are just making a bridge out of this. And for this bridge, earlier they used to pay a lot of money, but now anything in between 1% to 10% based on the product or based on the pricing in that product arena. So basically we help in the real trade, where the most important thing is required, the most important support required for the farmers. So any farmer or any farmer producing company or maybe any startup who is producing anything, because NSIC can work at in any products. We are not industry specific. We cannot, we can't be. And for anybody who wants to get connected with me, I have already given my number in the chat. You can connect with me 24/7 by WhatsApp or phone call. Because every problem is having a unique solution. Maybe if I'm talking about my schemes, if somebody doesn't want, okay, no problem. Maybe if they want something else, and those things also can be provided and can be discussed, because all customized solution can be given to the people. We are working as their business partner, as their marketing end. They can vouch on us. Thank you much, madam, and I hope that a few people get connected with us.
Thank you, Mr. Vijay Prakarji. Thanks for sharing such interesting and details with our participants. So I think I can use some time for the questions. We have a lot of people writing to us. So I'll just quickly ask my colleague Vivek to unmute Mr. Ramalingam Subba. Mr. Ramalingam, can you hear me? Has he been unmuted, Vivek?
Yes.
Mr. Ramalingam, can you hear me?
Not it. Hello, madam. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, please introduce yourself and ask your question quickly.
So, question is related to the patent involved in the startup. So, applying for a patent is still very expensive affair, right? So, what financial support and guidance someone will be able to get while applying for the patent for the IPs involved in the startup?
Okay. Who would like to? Your question is addressed to?
I can answer this. Vibha, I can answer this.
Yes, Dr. Purushottam, please.
Yeah. See, NRDC has got a scheme of filing patents free of cost, particularly for academia and individuals. So you don't have to worry. We file every year a few hundreds of patents. You can write to us. If your patent qualifies to file as a patent, we will do all the needful. We also maintain it. So we take care of the entire evaluation, filing, prosecution, everything we take care of.
Thank you, Dr. Purushottam. Mr. Ramalingam, I hope you got your answer. So now I quickly ask my colleague Vivek to unmute Mr. Senthil Kumar.
Senthil Kumar is on mute.
Senthil Kumarji, please introduce yourself and ask your question.
Hi, can you able to hear me?
Yes, we can. Please go ahead.
Yeah, I'm typically in England, but I'm very much interested in coming back to India and creating a startup firm. But I'm used this opportunity. This is a very good platform to know about the opportunity, but it's worries that nobody knows about these kind of opportunities in the farming industry. And Mr. Saravanan given a good idea about like starting up a new business and startups, but he also mentioning about new ideas. So think about me as a new farmer. I want to jump into the farming industry. I don't have idea. So what are the acceptance criteria to submit as an idea to jump into the process?
Again, I can respond, Vibha.
Yes, Dr. Purushottam.
Yeah, see,
Yes, Dr. Purushottam.
yeah, you don't have to have a validated idea. See, as I mentioned to you, NRDC works with all these national research laboratories, universities. We have a bunch of proven proof of concept tested technologies with us. So you don't have to reinvent the wheel. Identify the idea, develop it, and commercialize it. So we have thousands of technologies with us. So please reach out to NRDC and select the idea which you would like to explore in the domain in which you are interested. We have hundreds of technologies with us. So even if the technology is not there right now in our portfolio, you please tell us, this is the technology I was looking for. We will scout for it and we will hand it over the technology to you.
Thank you, Dr. Purushottam. Dr. Raj, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, I was talking about RKV Raptor for grants. I was talking when we are giving grants, there will be the ideas, innovative ideas. Always startups, innovative, disruptive. You'll see some ideas which are really helpful for the farming community or rural development or livelihood. Anything. It is depends actually. It is any idea. It is useful. Only that criteria. Innovative and it is useful. That one we look for it. RKV Raptor for grants. I was talking. Yeah, that's fine.
You to please write to NRDC or write to Mr. Srinivas Rao. Dr. Rao, I think you have something to say. Yes, Dr. Rao. Please unmute yourself.
Yeah, certainly, as Dr. Saravanan said, that many rural innovations are there, and we need to be not essentially technology has to go and from research to technology, technology to business. But some of the innovations also have potential to make it as a business. And one example is that farmer varieties, innovative farm machineries, and many farmer invented soil health strategies, technologies. So it is beyond the technology. The technologies are always there, but certainly innovations are rural innovations are very important.
Right. Thank you, sir. So I'll take quickly two more questions. Mr. Ravi Raj has a question for Mr. Vijay Prakash ji. Ravi Raj More, can you hear? Mr. Ravi Raj More, are you there?
Hello.
Mr. Ravi Raj More?
Hello, ma'am.
Please introduce yourself and ask your question.
Hello, ma'am. I'm a postgraduate from agriculture engineering.
Ji.
I just have a question for all the panelists. I'm interested in doing farming related research in production. So, as per my knowledge, I know one of the institutes in Uttar Pradesh that is CMAP is giving trainings to the farmers relating to the aromatic plants production and export of that oils. So right now it's not possible for me to go to Uttar Pradesh. So any place or any institute from where I can get the training in Maharashtra?
Yes, Mr. Mittal, would you like, do you have this question for Mr. Prakash, Vijay Prakash?
No problem, but anyone can answer.
I can take it.
Yeah.
I think we have several ABA centers in ICR. Of course, one is CSRI Medicinal and Aromatic Plants Institute, and also Indian Institute of Vegetable Research is there, and in Varanasi, and also sugarcane fruit horticulture institute, and also pulses research Dalahanka. If you through email or website, if you take their help, they will link other people which are really required for you. You need not to travel at present.
Yes, thank you very much. One last question now from Mr. Ravi Kishore. Mr. Ravi Kishore, can you hear me? Mr. Ravi Kishore? Can you unmute Mr. Dharmender Singh Lagoria?
Okay.
Dharmender Singh Lagoria. Dharmender Singh, can you hear me?
Dharmender Singh,
yes.
Yes, sir. Please ask your question. I believe you are from the village in Moran. Please go ahead and ask your question.
I am agri graduate and I already finished my degree to do a startup in my village. So like I have a lot of ideas, but I am still confused. Is suitable for this area and how to put up in a practical way. Like after graduation, like it become a lot of this thing is good for the as a business in from the agriculture sectors. Like we have read lot of subjects from agriculture.
So Dr. Mittal and Dr. Rao both will answer your question. Yes, Dr. Rao, please go ahead.
Yeah, dear, first of all, tell me which state you belong and which district you belong. So we will link to the institute and concerned commodity, and the diversity of the opportunities are available. Even if you write to me, email is there, and I will link to the people. Okay, and very appreciate that after studying BSc Agriculture, you would like to take up.
Yes, Dr. Mittal.
Dr. Saravanan has already told about this RTY project. And for the idea stage, government is offering 5 lakh rupees as a ceiling. So that is exclusively for the idea generation. And if anyone has this startup stage, then the fund is 25 lakh, which is maximum. So now when he has some ideas, so I'll request him to apply although he has only asked which state he is. So Pan India basis, like 5 knowledge partners are working. One of the managers in Niam is also one of the knowledge partners. So anyone can from all over India, they can apply to these systems. 3 more comments. So they can apply for the idea stage, and once their idea is selected, then they will be invited for the presentation. After presentation, if they selected, the lodging boarding is free, which is like 2 months, and no age-related bar, no education, formal education is required. Nothing is required. If idea clicks, then definitely will get the admission and they will get the grant.
Great, thank you, Dr. Mittal. So now I welcome Dr. Mai. Dr. Mai, welcome. आप तो देर हो गया थोड़ा आने में आज. So yes, Dr.
I'm happy. I think I was happy to see Srinivas Rao to join that group because he's from our ICAR side, where I too belong to that side. But
thank you very much, sir. Welcome.
I was told that this was really a very effective seminar, so I thank everybody. Although I was on another webinar, that's why I could not join Vibha. But I'm happy. Ravi was telling it was really very effective, and we have very competent people like Ramesh Mittal, Rajan Raj, and then we have Vijay Prakash, Purushottam, so many good people. I think the recommendations, kindly take them. We will forward them to. Thank you very much.
Wonderful, sir. Thank you very much, sir. So a lot of people are writing to us for the question. We have taken most of the questions, but please, look for the resource paper on AgroVision website. We'll make sure.
Thank you. Good. Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. That's
Well, thank you, Dr. Ayat. The closing remarks? Yes. Mr. Baratkar?
Yeah, I think Dr. Mai has already concluded. So it was a wonderful panel we had. All eminent people, very good participation. I'm happy to see almost up to 500 people joining in. So I'm sure this interaction will not end here, and this dialogue will be continued to the interaction between the attendees and the panelists. So thank you so much once again, Dr. Purushottam, Mr. Ramesh, Dr. Srinivas Rao, Dr. Saravanan Raj, Mr. Vijay Prakash, and Ms. Sangeeta. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Baratkar. I would also like to add one thing here. So on 22nd of July, we have another webinar on commodity exchange. So we request all the participants to join that 2nd of July at 3 o'clock. Thank you, everyone.